Welcome back. My name is Dr. Sahil Momin. I am the head of strategy and projects at Startup Nation. And I hope you guys have seen all the previous lectures that we've recorded. Today's lecture is going to be mostly around sales and marketing. How do you get your first sales? How do you market your product? But before we do that, before we think about sales, we need to think about marketing. Before we think about marketing, we need to understand people. And before we talk about people, we need to understand culture. Now, I give you a brief reference to context about today's conversation. Let me tell you my background first because I'll be the reference to context today. I was born in a mid-sized village called Rajguru Nagar, which is about a couple of hours drive north of the city Pune in India. I stayed there till the age of 12. My mom came from a Muslim family. My dad was religiously neutral. He didn't care. I went to a Catholic school. All my friends were Hindus. All my father's friends were Jains. Now, the reason I tell you this context is because as Southeast Asian, we are extremely privileged. We come from a very privileged background. Let me tell you more. After the age of 12, I went to a boarding school where people from all parts of India came to study. From a very small village where the cultural differences and the cultural amalgamation was still there in harmony, I moved to a location where all the cultures of the country now collided. Yet, lived in nice harmony, there was understanding of culture. Different parts have different cultures here, right? Different micro cultures as well. After I finished my high school, I moved to Australia. I lived in Sydney for about 4.5 years. That was my first international exposure, where now I was no longer dealing with people with Indian cultures, different cultures from India, but now from different cultures in a Western world. So different cultures in Australia, people who came to Australia to study and so on. After 4.5 years in Australia, I moved to Europe to do my master's. The first day or the first lecture of my master's, when I entered the classroom, there were about 30 to 40 students from 24 different countries. Many of them were part of European countries, others came from Africa, Asia, South and North America, different parts of the world, right? So from a boarding school where I was exposed to different cultures in a country, I went to Australia where I got exposed to some other countries, some other nationalities. Then into a classroom of people where the interaction were more personalized, more direct, more one-on-one with individuals from 24 to 25 different countries. During my PhD and my master's, I lived in France, Germany, Switzerland, and I worked with people from different parts of the world. Now, the reason I give you this context is before we talk about sales and marketing and people, culture is something that is extremely important for an individual to understand before they can build a business around it. Culture is not just limited to religion or the lifestyle, but it's also very important in business. So the business culture and investment, so investment culture, right? Different parts of the world have different cultures and operational, know-hows when it comes to day-to-day activities. A startup in Europe will not act or perform in the same manner as it would do in, let's say, a country in Southeast Asia or Africa or Middle East. Everywhere they have to adapt. And whenever you scale your startup, you will also have to learn about different cultures so that you can customize your products and offerings according to those cultures. Now, I told you earlier that as Southeast Asians, we are very privileged. And this is a privilege that often goes unacknowledged, right? When an individual is born or brought up in cultures or more than one or two cultures, and Southeast Asia, you have around 4 to 5 exposures to cultures anyway. When you get that kind of exposure, You learn the ability to understand other people's culture. You have to have an open mind in a dialogue, in a conversation, and be a better listener every time you go to a new place and a new region that you're targeting. For example, if you want to sell your product, you're making, let's say, in whatever home country you live in right now, but you want to sell your product in a different country. You want to sell your product in China or Africa or let's say Nigeria or Sri Lanka. All those three countries have three different business cultures, three different backgrounds. Unless you go there, unless you learn from those cultures, unless you learn to adapt in those cultures, you will never be able to sell in that country. Right? It is extremely important to understand people and understand their culture. Now, culture is not limited to sales and marketing. Culture also plays a very big role in an organization in general. How the day-to-day activities and how your colleagues or your teammates act towards each other, how they perform in terms of the day-to-day activities, what kind of leeway and stringent discipline sometimes that is being put in place when it comes to about workplace. Workplace cultures are very important. Unless you create the right culture, the right working environment for your teammates, your colleagues to have the freedom or not have the freedom in certain segments of their day-to-day activities, your organization as a whole will not succeed. Let me give you an example. Startup Nation as an organization is very proud about its own culture because every individual here is a founder. Our team, no matter which background they come from, is striving to build their own startups. And we are helping them do that. Every intern of ours is also building their startup. And we're very proud of that. We are also very helpful towards that and we like keep helping them in the long run. But this culture that we've bought in or that we've created, the ecosystem, the environment that we've created, allows each member of my team to be a critical thinker, which is very important for the day-to-day activities of Startup Nation. Maybe not for the individual startups, but very important for Startup Nation. Unless my team is critically thinking on every role that they've been assigned, every job that they've been assigned, they will not be able to execute it with the efficiency that they are able to do it right now. I'll give you an example, right? I am leading a team of about 10 to 15 people right now. Fluctuates, some are interns, some are part-time, fluctuates quite a bit. Everyone's roles assigned, everyone been given that stuff. You have an IT team that is going to be taking care of the app development segments for us. When we initially thought of the idea, developing our first few apps, we thought we would be doing it in 3-month period. They were rightfully so. They were unaware. They had the technology know-how, but they lacked the passion for the app that they were creating. They were creating it for someone else. Even the app that they wanted to create for themselves, they were not confident enough to build that up. I, as a leader, did not have any experience in developing the app. Right? Although there are many tools that you can use right now to develop a few apps, a few designs here and there, I had never tried them out myself. As a leader, what I hope many of you would become in future, it is very important for you to first have the experience of the job that you're assigning to your staff so that you have a better knowledge, a better know-how about the limitations and the problems that that individual will face when executing that job. So when you are developing our first few apps, started off last month, this month, earlier, first week of this month, right? Initial target was about 2 months, 3 months time. I had never done that. I wanted to know why it takes so much time. We had a lot of AI tools. We had all the resources. We had the premium versions of a lot of tools. Right? I started to learn. how to make an app. Never done that before. I know how to code in Python, which is a programming language, but I never actually, created a software or created an app or a website or anything like that. So I started learning, and I learned. I designed. I helped my team. I became part of their team. I became part of their team so that I could learn from them. And when I did that, my team saw me doing that. They got passionate about that product, that project. A 3-month project finished in a month. We are launching it today. And not just one, but 2 apps. Right? And all this is not possible because of me. It has nothing to do with me. It is just about creating the right environment. When you offer somebody an excitement of work, when you offer somebody a playfulness, a joy of just creating things, if someone likes doing that, just offer them that. You have to identify what your teammates want. When you do that, your teammates will provide or will put in the same amount of effort, if not more. And that is how the productivity or the work culture in any organization is built. Right? Let me tell you another example. We have a team for communications. Now, when communicating with different stakeholders, different organizations, let it be incubation centers, universities, schools, colleges, students, right? It's a different conversation. There are different limitations. Now, communication is something that I'm decent at, but I'm not from the background where I could understand the limitations or the administrative limitations of a school, for that matter. I've been a professor before for a year. So I understand how universities and colleges operate, but never done that for schools. I've been part of the startup ecosystem for about 4 years, so I understand how incubation centers work, what are their limitations. But I had my own limitations as well, right? My team has that expertise. Sat in a couple of days to understand where that limitation comes from. When I assign a work, if the work is getting delayed, I need to know the reason behind that. And not just the reason where a person didn't do it or XYZ reason. No, that's not how you find the reason. The reason is where are the limitations in that conversation, or where are the limitations of execution with that stakeholder when it comes to that. Not every stakeholder is going to cooperate in the same manner. So I had to sit in for a couple of days and take on the experience that I lacked. The understanding of a school ecosystem that I did not have before. To just understand what my team is going through, what they are suffering through every time they make a call, or every time they have to, talk to an individual from an XYZ different organization. So it's very important that as leaders, you adopt those qualities. And if you don't have those qualities of leadership, then you have to learn, right? I will not say that you will never become one, but qualities that you don't have are the qualities that you need to learn. And only by learning and upskilling yourself, you will get those leadership qualities. Now, first, understand the culture. Second, understand the people of that culture. And third, when you understand the culture, when you understand the people of those cultures, you understand what drives them, what does not drive them, their desires, their needs, their wants. That is when you are capable to even formulate a basic marketing strategy. Without that, you will not be able to do that. In the previous video, I told you there are 4 offerings that Startup Nation is developing. Right? One is an app development service for startups. Second, Judge My Lawyer, a website for just general people to find a decent lawyer from a different court. Third is Track My Startup. It's a compliance app that allows startups to monitor their own compliance and make sure that they don't get a fine on it, anything. Startups often don't keep compliance and end up and get stuck with fines that they don't have the money to be. And same goes for investors. Investors like to keep a track of what their startups are doing, where they're spending, and so on. Right. And the fourth one was something that my interns are developing called MoolSetu, which was a price check app for traders of different markets, right, or different agricultural produce. In the first segment, to develop the app or app development service, what should be my marketing strategy be? Right. So who's my target customer? That you've already covered in the previous ones. What is the customer persona? What are the needs and wants? Who's my customer? And who's my consumer? And what drives them, right? So this is first I need to identify. So for my app development service, my target customers are startups. These are individuals who are developing their first startup or an early stage startup founder, first time startup founders. Their needs and wants are simple. They don't have the money to develop the app, but they have the vision and the passion to execute the app once they have developed. So they need somebody to develop the app at either an affordable price or someone who's willing to take money in equity or partial money in equity, fees in equity to develop this app. So what my customer and consumer are both the startups in this case. So what's my marketing strategy? I need to approach startups from different parts of the world in an environment or an ecosystem where app development service is quite expensive. In India, it's relatively cheap. So India is not so much of my primary target. But that's not true for my African startup. That's not true for my Middle Eastern startups or my European startups or anywhere else. There, the app development is quite pricey. So my targets are early stage or first time founders in India or in Africa, in Middle East or Europe. 4 different customer personas. Their needs and wants, like I told you earlier. How do I target them? Right. How do I target my customer here? How do I reach to them? What are the tools that allow me, what are the tools that allow me to reach my startup? Because marketing is all about awareness about your product, right? How do I create awareness about my product so that these individuals can come to me? Where do startups hang out? 1, incubation center. So we target our network of incubation center. We have about 240, 245 incubation centers in our network right now. Then where else? Investors, investor communities. Every startup wants to go to an investor to raise funds. Investor does not want to take on board the big risk. So we work with investors. You don't have to pay. You're going to pay him money and then he's going to pay somebody else to develop the app. Better, we develop the app. We'll take the early equity. You can invest in the startup afterwards, after the app has been delivered. A win-win situation for both. Reduces the risk of the investor, gives us a client. These are the two markets. How do I target them now? I've identified my target customers. How do I target them? Incubation centers, I have my network. I can use that. I can tap into that. I can schedule maybe conversations with them or one-on-one conversations. My team is already doing that. Right? So I can have an one-on-one conversation with the CEOs of all incubation center. I reach out to them. I have a conversation with them, tell them about a service that you're offering and onboard them as a partner. Same goes for investors, right? Now, This was a B2B app which works better in collaboration. Always remember, B2B apps or B2B services that you offer, they always perform better in collaboration with an organization that can bring you the distribution rather than executing it yourself. Second, Judge My Lawyer, a B2C app, right? This is where things get a little different and fun as well. Judge My Lawyer allows individuals to check the stats of each lawyer and each judge in every court of India. We are starting with Supreme Courts and High Courts, and then we'll probably go to district courts and session courts and whatnot. If I want to hire a lawyer in Supreme Court, I need to know which lawyer is good. Simple as that. Or if a judge has been assigned to my case, I want to understand the kind of behavior the judge has had in the past. Simple fact, right? Who's my target customer? Is the people who are looking for lawyers, right? So individuals are looking for lawyers. Which is normally the complainant or the respondent. Second, is that all? No. Lawyers. Lawyers want to know what their stats are compared to the others. If their stats are good, they can show those stats to any of their future customers. Hey, look, my stats are this. I am ranked 10 in the district court, or I am ranked 2 in Supreme Court when it comes to winnings or settlements or XYZ. Okay? Who else? Journalists, activists, and all other social workers that are working in that space. When a law student graduates, they want to do an internship or an associateship. I don't know what the right term is for that. Articleship, perhaps. With a lawyer, with an experienced lawyer, with a good track record. Because that's what allows them to succeed in their field later on, right? It teaches them the ropes. It allows them to understand the most basic things about the court. And it makes them efficient in general. So, these are my 4 different customer personas. Their needs and wants are very different. I have limited resources. Whom do I start with? Now, the people who would really like my service are the individuals that are looking for lawyers, right? The complainant or the respondents. But are they easy to reach right now? I have to market and I have to spend money to market. I'm a very stingy person, right? I don't like spending money. And I'm a startup. I don't have the resources as much. I don't want to raise funds for this startup, right? This is just something that we've done on the side. We like it. We enjoy making something like this. So do I target these people, customers? Not yet. Not right now. I will, perhaps later. I have to choose one. Second are lawyers themselves. Can I target lawyers? Can I tell the lawyers that, hey, you're able to measure your stats here, and you can show it to your future customers, and at the same time you can advertise your services by putting in your contact details and whatnot. If people wanna contact you, they can reach out to you using the app and so on. Maybe, but it's always a normal distribution curve, right? There are 50% lawyers who are doing good, the other 50% are not doing good. The ones who are not doing good, they are not the ones who are going to like this. But the ones who are actually doing good in reality, they're going to love this thing. How do I target them? I don't have their contact details, so I'll have to first study my own app, identify who are doing good, who are in the top 50%, and then identify the contact details of those individuals. And oh, by the way, whenever you want to do an exercise like this, don't contact the top 50%, contact the normal top 30%. Yeah? If the top 30% are the ones that will actually promote your product in the ones who would actually utilize it more. So I target the top 30%. Let's say I have 1,000 lawyers, that's 30% is 300. So I have to find the contact details of these specific 300 lawyers and send them the information to check their own stats. I could do that, but still not something that's going to generate a lot of revenue for me. Early revenues, yeah. Long-term revenues, no. Right? Out of the 4 customer personas that I've created, I think that to start, activist and law students are the best bets. I can reach out to influencers, activists, and journalists, share the app with them, give them a few free credits if required, allow them to browse through it, and then promote it. That marketing, at the same time, I will also have to target the law students, maybe through law universities or any other forum that I can think about. I have a few of the startup founders that I know have a very strong marketing presence in the student domains. So perhaps I'll reach out to them, ask them for assistance. Can you help me reach out to the law students or law graduates? Allow them to check the stats of the lawyers and so whatnot, or even their teachers for that matter on this app. Might work. It's a start. It's not a lot of money-making app, I'll be very honest, but it is a good enough app for me to test and learn. So yeah, why not? Track My Startup. The startup compliance app that allows startups to just monitor and track their compliances. Who's my target customer here? Is it still so let's see that, right? Who are the people who I'm onboarding on Track My Startup? We have the startups firstly, who will maintain their own compliances, their own expenditures. It helps the startup to just see where they are spending a lot of money and where they're not. At the same time, make sure that all their compliances have been met. Right? We have CAs and CSs, which is chartered accountant and company secretaries. If you're a private limited company, these 2 individuals are absolute necessary for you. Right? So we have these 2 individuals to just check the documents that you upload and verify it. Whether if CA has verified your accounting documents or the company secretary has validated your documents or whatnot. I also have investors and incubation centers. Now, again, incubation centers are someone whose network I have. Startups are individuals that I can reach out to. I have a strong startup network, whether the founder community, whether it goes into the Startup Nation founder community. So I have a few networks that I can tap into that allows me a decent amount of distribution. So, but how do I reach? So are these my target customers to start? Maybe, maybe not. How do I identify? How many of these are my customers and how many of these are my consumers? They're all my consumers, but only investors are my customers. For everyone else, it's free. CAs and CSs don't need to pay. Startups don't need to pay. Incubation centers don't need to pay. Only investors have paid. So I just have to start this. How do I create a marketing funnel or a marketing strategy to reach out to these individuals? All startups or information, at least the basic information about all startups, is available on the startup. For the Indian startups, you can go to the Startup India website. For all other startups, let's say from a different country, there are entrepreneurial programs or services or department by the government. You can try reaching out to them and get a database of startup founders from there. Reach out to them, onboard them onto your platform, give them the benefits. Right? Free app, not a problem. Incubation centers are easy to approach as well. I already have an in-house network that I can reach out to. I can request them because it's free. It allows them to track the startup as well. Once I have enough startups on board, now I can approach investors saying that, or even my existing investor community, I can reach out to those. So new investors or the existing investors, I can reach out to them and say that, hey, you know what? There are a lot of startups looking for funding on this platform. If you are interested, you can just join the platform and you can scroll through the reels of the startup pitches. And perhaps there is a startup that you like or want to invest in, and we'll connect you to that startup. If you like it, you onboard it, you invest in them. If not, no problem. Right? As Startup Nation, this perfectly aligns with our vision of just supporting early stage startups. They're not going to charge any commission for this thing, their service. Hey, the amount is low. We don't care. We don't want charges. Investor Connect would also be free to a certain extent, unless you're raising big numbers. So, my strategy is very simple. Get consumers on board of this platform. Enough consumers attract investors who are my customers. It's a very similar strategy what social media uses. I onboard enough users that allow me to then bring on ad revenue. Right? Social media works that way. If I get enough people on board or on a platform, then individuals who want to target and market to those audiences will pay me to market their platform or market their whatever apps and services and whatnot they're thinking about. Right? That's how social media works. So I'll take a similar approach in this case. We'll give it a shot. That's how I defined my marketing strategy. Now let's take the last one, right? MoolSetu, a price check app. How do I define a marketing strategy for this? I have an app that will give them a price check on any trader, a price check of any agricultural good produced in any part of the country in the palm of their hand. Right? The idea is very good. I hope my interns do very well on this. I really hope they succeed on this one. But how do they start? They have developed the product to a large extent now. And they will launch it perhaps, I think, by 15th September or maybe 20th September. But how do they convert this? How do they develop a marketing strategy for this? Right? Who does MoolSetu target when they want to create a marketing strategy? Now, primary target of MoolSetu are traders and farmers. Allowing farmers to sell to traders directly was the original philosophy. And I like the philosophy. It's just that you cannot bring the wheel, you have to update the wheel. Right? So they created something for the existing wheel, that is for the traders. And then slowly, they will update the wheel by introducing farmers to the platform. Very good idea. How do they do that? Do they go to every market? Because there are, I think, about 500 or more than 1,000 markets in the country, I'd say. Would they go to every market and talk to the traders there and then onboard them? It's kind of difficult. Do they do this? Do they do this for every produce? They have every produce on their app, but do they do this for every produce? It's true. Oh, this doesn't click very well with me. There needs to be a faster way, right? How do you do this? Now, few suggestions that they can try out. I'm not sure which route they will take. First is a referral program. The referral program is a very good marketing strategy in terms to get at least the initial sales and create the initial community. MoolSetu charges, I think, 10 or 20 rupees or 30, whatever, like less than 50 rupees to show the prices of a specific product from different parts of the market, from different markets in the country. And they charge it every day. Right? It's a daily subscription. It's not a monthly subscription or an annual subscription, a daily subscription with an option to monthly subscription. Can I tell a trader that, hey, I give this app to you and I'll give you, let's say, 200 rupees worth of credit. If the person pays like, let's say, $20 or 20 rupees per day, that's for 10 days, right? To create any habit, a person has to do the same activity every day consecutively for at least 7 to 10 days. That's how you create habits. MoolSetu allows the trader, let's say, 15 days worth of credit. Yeah. And every time they refer a client, every time they invite another trader, they get another, let's say, 5 days worth of credit. It's a referral program. Every time I invite a friend of mine who's also a trader in the same business on a different product or the same product, produce, I get 5 days extra. I can keep inviting one individual every 5 days. That will give me enough credits to last me a year. I get the app for free as a trader. What about MoolSetu? MoolSetu get the audience for free. They get all the traders on their platform. Obviously, the math, the logic, all of it needs to be fine-tuned. It has to be experimented. It has to be price checked everywhere, right? It has to be priced right. The benefits needs to be provided right in order for this to scale really quickly. It's called the product market fit, or the whatever business model which works and scales really fast. So in order to achieve that, it will take some time, but it'll happen. You try out enough things and something works out. What other thing can MoolSetu do? And one is a referral program, but that only works when you have, let's say, at least 50 or 10, 20 or 50, 100 farm or traders on top of it. You need to start from something, right? What else can you do? Can you run Facebook ads? Would that work? Maybe not. Right? Because that requires money. And MoolSetu is broke. I know that. I pay them. My intern is just sitting behind the camera, so he's laughing. That's fine. That's fine. So how does he or she, they're both so very good people, scale this app without spending a lot on marketing? An advice that I give them is, instead of focusing on all produce in all markets in India, you provide those price checks as a service. Yeah, keep it there. But when you onboard your initial customers, focus on one major market. Every produce has one, right? You want to talk about grapefruit, there's a market. You want to talk about onions, there is one major market, or maybe a few major markets. If you want to talk about oranges, there are major markets. So take one market, one produce, or take one produce which is a commodity which people buy every day, and find the biggest market for that. Go there. Spend an entire week onboarding people. Just go to every store, every little trader, and onboard them. 15 days worth of free credit, right? 10 days worth of free credit, 15 days worth of free credit. Onboard everyone, every single trader from that market. Don't leave a single one out. You know what happens when you do the referral program in that case? The trader can no longer refer to the neighbor. They will have to refer someone who's not part of that same market or the same location. Someone he's selling it to, right? So let's say a trader in the western part of let's say one of the western markets of India, who's regularly selling produce into the eastern part, or the northern part, or the southern part of the country. And every trader is doing it at a different region. If I onboard every single trader from this market and I tell them that after 15 days, I'll give you a referral program. Every time you refer somebody and they convert, you get 5 extra days worth of credit. They will have to find a trader in a different city. And since every trader is targeting different city, you're scaling immediately within maybe 2 or 3 months, you'll be scaling it to every other city in the country because it's a commodity, right? Has to be bought every day. Right. Now, is that a lot of money for him? No. He charge what, 20 rupees a day? You're getting 100 customers is what, 2,000 rupees? 2,000 rupees multiplied by 1 month, that's 60,000 rupees. That's not even enough to cover both their salaries. But what has he achieved there? He's made sure that the app is scaling organically without any marketing spend. Now, it's not that marketing spend is not required. It is required, and he will and she will also need it. What they will have to do is, after they have captured that one target market, after 1 month, they'll have to see which other market is they're getting most number of users from. and which are the markets they're not getting users from, right? You identify markets that you're getting a lot of users from, or the targeted region you're getting a lot of users from, and markets that you're not getting the users from. Now, do not target the markets where you're not getting the users from. Always go after the low-hanging fruits, right? So let's say there are 100 traders in that market. They capture all 100 of them within a week. They go around giving the app for free, giving them credits worth of 15 days for free. And after that, when these individuals want to reach out to different parts of the country, they reach out to north, south, east, every little tiny little market in the world. In the country. And they identify that, you know what, I'm getting 100 new customers, or like, let's say, the 35% market share in a very small market in some remote part of the country. They will spend money, even a little bit more, to get 100% market share in the tiny market of that country. Once you acquire the market 100% using a service, something like this, you have become the go-to service provider of that region. You've gotten customers to come to you. You've got customers that are loyal to you. Your lifetime value, your customer lifetime value, your LTV skyrockets. What happens if he does the exact opposite? Instead of targeting some place where he's getting 35% market share or 35% conversion, he targets somebody, some market which when they have like 5% conversion, right? Tries going there and convincing people, please use this app. You know, this is very good. You will get all the prices for all the producers in the country. Please try it out. Is he actually going to make money out of that? No. The reason being, chasing markets with the same produce or same product, identical product, where people are not responding positively towards that product, is a waste of energy, time, and resource. However, optimizing the strategy or optimizing your marketing efforts in a market or a region where there is organic customer retention and organic customer creation, new users are onboarding on the platform, that will give you the highest conversion in the long run. Your CAC will go really down, your customer acquisition cost. So let's say if you want to spend 100 rupee in the 5% market versus spending 100 rupee in a 35% converted market, your 100 rupee in 35% converted market will get you more customers than in the 5%. And the reason is there'll also be inter-customer referrals. So customers in the market where already 35% of the traders are using it can refer to their friends, their families who are also in the same business doing the exact same thing and actually get real value out of it. Right? So that's how you derive a marketing strategy. You first identify the very low-hanging fruit, acquire your first 100 customers there, 100 loyal customer, repeated customer, or repeated users. From there, you scale it up and you identify parts of the country or parts of the region where organic adoption is increasing. You identify the regions where organic adoption is taking place, you go there and then you use that and you scale that in that region. Right? And there, if required, you put in the marketing money. That's how you achieve your marketing. Once you get your good enough marketing, your sales conversions automatically take place. Sales and marketing, I'll tell you the difference between the two in terms of operations for a business. Marketing is something that I need to do before the product is sold. Sales start when the product is sold. So when I sell a product to somebody, that is when it starts. Because first time I sell him or her, the second time the customer should come and buy it, and that needs to keep on happening. And I need to maintain customer relations in order to make sure that the customer doesn't go away from me. After that, just maintaining those relationships with those customers. If you maintain those relationships and you keep your marketing in the right place, your sales would take place organically. You will not require a lot of money to be spent. Right? So, that's it for today. I hope you guys learned something out of this. And if you have any questions, we'll take it up tomorrow during, on Friday, during the doubt sessions. Yeah? All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Cheers.